Hi everyone, today I will be talking about the condensed history of Rhodesia. Rhodesia is now two different nations, Zambia in the north and Zimbabwe in the south. It has been the home to Bantu-speaking peoples for many centuries. Great Zimbabwe had around 10,000 people living there, including the Queen of Sheba. Cecil Rhodes was sent to South Africa in 1870 to work on his brother's cotton farm rather than going to university. By 1881, him and his friend eventually established a monopoly that controlled 90% of the world's production of the diamonds. They eventually wanted to spread into producing gold, but they needed to persuade Lobengula, who was the ruler of Ndebele. They eventually got him to sign a treaty of friendship in 1888. He was also reluctant to give mining concessions to Europeans in fear that they might never leave, but he did anyways. What the king signed did not just give them the rights to mining concessions, he basically signed away control of the kingdom. Once Rhodes got that power, he went to the British government trying to start the British South Africa Company. It was granted in 1889 and the company expanded to British territory into what is Zambia and Malawi. There was a lot of local resistance, and the British South Africa Company administered South Africa until 1923. Great Britain began industrializing South Africa. After World War I, Rhodesia was pressuring the company to be allowed to govern itself. This led to two options. Southern Rhodesia could join the Union of South Africa or become self-governing. They chose self-government. But keep in mind only Europeans could vote. Now we will be talking about the southern part of Rhodesia and jumping to 40 years later. Most of the money came from mining, raising cattle, or growing crops like corn. Ian Smith came into office in 1964. He wanted to protect white minority rule right when he stepped into Rhodesia's politics. He founded a new party called the Rhodesian Front. It included gaining independence from Britain and was governed by a white minority, meaning it was not giving power to the black population. Smith tried talking to Britain about total independence for Rhodesia. They said Rhodesia's black population needed to have a voice in its government that reflected the size of the population. Smith didn't even want to think about that option. On November 11, 1965, Ian Smith issued a Unilateral Declaration of Independence, or a UDI, where Rhodesia declared its independence. This did not end well. Most countries were outraged. Keep in mind this was the year after the civil rights in 1964. Ian Smith went so far to declare independence instead of giving a voice to the black African population. Smith also made a new constitution declaring Rhodesia a republic and guaranteeing that the rule of Rhodesia will always be in the hands of a white minority. It was put to vote, but to keep in mind that everyone that could vote was white. His plan passed. On March 1970, Rhodesia was officially a republic. After many groups rebelling in battles against all of this, the economy began to go down and the whites immigrated. This battle went on till 1977 and around 30,000 people died. The black population of Rhodesia started to gain power in 1978. They gave them the right to vote, but the interests of the white ruling class were still protected. At this point, Rhodesia became known as Rhodesia Zimbabwe. This eventually got much better by 1979. Mugabe became prime minister in 1980, and his goal was for the nation to be a one-party socialist state. Thanks for watching!
Created using Powtoon.